Usually the deaths, I know you get one or two.
If you get a couple of wickets, will you always get one more?
Yeah, always one more.
If you get a couple of wickets, will you always get one more?
To the death. Yeah, always one more. Sort of like the job of it. So to be honest, I hold to the death. Yeah, I think obviously Chappell like the job of it. So we'll bowl at least one over. Yeah, I think obviously Chappell had one or two through the middle, at least one over in the power play. We've got a good spread of bowlers actually. With one or two through the middle around the stages. So we've got a good choice of bowlers actually. We've got a lot of all-rounders. So we've got the easiest over after the power play. Choices. We roll that tonight because that's always the
first one after the power play.
The easiest over after the power play on T20 cricket tonight. That's always the first one after the power play. Yes, the best over the bowl on T20 cricket. I'd be lined enough as well.
Whatsoever. In any doubt whatsoever. First ball outside the power play. Here's Pat Brown bowling, and that's a quickish delivery. Here's Pat Brown, everything into bowling, and that's a quickish delivery. Willie put everything into towards the members' pavilion, but of course it was in for a ball out towards the.
Got two choices. Easiest over. Choices.
First one after the power play.
Easiest over. First
one after the power play. To get your thinking cap on, here comes Pat Brown, 25 for 3, Northamptonshire. That one's pushed into the offside by Willie Bapara. Willie fancied a run there, but it wasn't there, so it goes down as a dot ball. So on the 11th of July 2014.
We had a real good core of players that I've grown up with, and it was nice to share the field with them. I think when you go to Wantage Road as well, it's quite the proximity, the real good core of players that I've grown up with, and it was nice to share the field with them. I think when you go to Wantage Road as well,
Tommy Patel's got something to say here to the umpire Ashraf, but he's not going to change his mind. So 31 for 3 rather. And in comes Brown and bowls the free hit, and it's clubbed into the leg side, and it's going to go beyond Van Aitchison for 4 runs. So an expensive delivery there, goes for 6 in total. 35 for 3. Didn't see the. Was it for over the shoulder?
I think it was a front foot no ball, but they were just mid-offers pushing out a little bit further than he was, so they wanted him back into the original position, obviously a little bit tighter on the one. So
it's always a little bit interesting, isn't it? A free hit. Everyone in the field's just trying to sneak that to the circle without the umpire seeing it.
We've got on to that these days. I reckon at the start that we used to just drift out and it was all right, but now a little bit.
Do what you want. Very fetching pink coats the umpires are wearing this year. 35 for 3 as Brown is in, and that one is a slower delivery. It wasn't slow at all. Slower delivery that's guided by Bapara down towards Caleb Jewell on the edge of the circle at short third man. Bapara moves to 6. Willie has 4. The scoreboard's changed, which means I've got to reacquaint myself with it. 1 ball to go in the over. 36 for 3.
Blair, what's the theory about deep point compared to conventional third man? Is it a theory?
I was just saying that in New Zealand we still have third man. If like a bit of extra pace and bouncy, I'd still have a third man instead of that square third man.
He's got the 2 men out on the leg side boundary, and that one is off a sort of leading edge there from Willie. Picks up a single. Pat Brown tries to stop the ball with his right foot. 37 for 3 at the end of the power play. So 3 wickets down, 9 runs off the over. 3 wickets down, it's game over.
Yeah, very good start. On the wider point, we use it a lot in the death. We have a short third, and then we have 2 guys out there, especially if you're going wide Yorkers and wide slower balls. I think it's just a very English thing. I've seen a lot of it of late. To me, the edges, new batters, third man, maybe having a slip, and then just your backward point. I think it's a more attacking option. Obviously, with different size boundaries in England, you can have a short side, so I think that point, I think bowlers get used to it, and then they just have that wider, the short third, and then the wider guy on that backward point line. Not for me, but a lot of English bowlers, yes.
Zach Chappell begins the new over, the first one outside the power play, which has confounded many experts. The ball is attempted to swing into the leg side by Will. It comes off a pad and goes for a leg by into the offside. 38 for 3. I did not expect Zach Chappell to bowl this over.
No, obviously he started quite well. Maybe the captain wants downwind. I was bowling earlier for warm-up and it was actually quite a breeze. So.
It is breezy out there.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Summit with a bit of extra pace behind him.
Yeah, a few arm balls.
Sometimes as well, if you bowled your first over quite well, you just want to keep that going, don't you?
Yeah.
We saw that up at Durham as this one is guided down to third man by Bopara. There is a third man down there. It's Ben Aitchison. They go through for a single. Bopara moves to 7:44.3. Somebody called Anderson, who bowled 3 overs in the power play for Lancashire against Durham, and he looked, if a bowler gets into the groove and he's not conceding runs, there is always the danger that the batter can get used to them, of course.
Yeah, he's obviously a swing bowler as well, so using it when it does swing is obviously the best time.
Chappell bowls up on his launch, back down the ground, that'll be 6. That was close. As close as there has been this season, certainly. It was some strike from David Willey, who has absolutely smashed that ball into the sight screen, which makes up the bottom 2 floors of this media centre.
It looks like that ball was probably just a little bit too full. Zach, and to be fair, most of the bowling attack, including Blair, their natural length is going to be more back of the length, hitting the deck hard, so...
I'm sure he's got a slower ball, back of the hand slower ball, but that wasn't one, and he actually put a bit more mustard on it, I think, there, as it goes through to the keeper.
I think that one that did get hit looked like a slower ball. It was just over-pitched. Obviously, Sam wants to be more attacking. He's just putting Madsen out now, but he had both mid-on and mid-off up, trying to get a few dots, but... I think, like you said, it's heavy length for Chappell usually, and the extra bounce... He'll get wickets like he did with the first ball, straight up in the air.
Comes in the ball to Willie, who's on 11. That one is 2-leg side, really. It's turned down towards Ben Aitchison, who does field it cleanly. Down at long leg. Willie moves to 12. Bopara has 7. They're 46 for 3 now. The Steelbacks approaching the end of over number 7. Decent start from Derbyshire, but still plenty of work to do. Safe Zabe, Lewis McManus.
Looks like they're looking to go short on the shorter length with the 3 out on the leg side.
Yes, backward square leg and the man at mid-wicket, and that one is just dabbed by Bopara, which he's been doing for the last 400 years. Down to third man for a single as the over comes to an end. 47 for 3 now after 7 overs. 10 runs off that one, including that enormous 6. But it remains a good start from Derbyshire. And here he is with the wind behind him.
Yeah, like that, yeah. Obviously that extra bounce from Chappell, I'd be using my cross seam deliveries, trying to get a little bit of different bounce off the seam, some skid off the shiny side, but hitting it hard into the wicket. You can be quite predictable at the moment with guys just trying to start there and whacking the wicket as hard as you can and hoping for a skyer really, but I don't think it needs to change much for the guys through the middle now. Just try to keep taking wickets.
Long on and long off. Man out on the cover boundary in front of the old scoreboard, and 2 men on the leg side boundary as well. Samet will come in between the umpire and the stumps and bowl to Bopara. How many times, I wonder, have these two either been in opposition or even in the same side in franchise cricket? I've got a list somewhere. I must have put it down. I'll perhaps get it out a bit later, of Samet's T20 teams, and it's 2 pages of A4, and the type is really small. It's incredible. Played in the very first edition of the Blast, and bowls now to Willie, who goes back and tries to cut, but ends up pushing it up towards long off on this occasion, and they go through for another single. Willie moves on to 13, 49. 4-3. David Lloyd doing the fielding down in front of the permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground, the city end. Still the remnants of the sunshine as that one goes down the leg side. There's a chase on here for Zach Chappell. He will get to the ball. They're going to come back for a second and get back successfully for the second, as and Aaron Donald does what modern wicketkeepers do, as it signalled leg byes. Tries to divert the ball onto the stumps. He missed. 51 for 3. The 50 coming up in the 8th over, to limited applause from the home supporters, it has to be said. And now the next ball is just guided by Bopara to backward point, where it's fielded by Caleb Jewell, just inside the circle. Zanfar at short third man, Chappell at short fine leg. Wayne Madsen prowling in the covers as this one is turned into the leg side. Samit's got to do the fielding off his own bowling, he won't like that. And they go through for a single. Bopara moves on to 10. 52 for 3. I was talking to him at the toss just before we went on air at Leicester, and so they said that Leicestershire had elected to field. I said to Samet, nobody elects to field, and they said, well, I certainly don't. As he comes in over the wicket and bowls to Willie, guides it down a short third man. There's going to be no shy at the stumps from Ben Aitchison as the first Samet Patel over comes to an end. Just the 6 runs from it, 53 for 3 at the end of 8. But nobody, I mean, it's a necessary evil, I suppose, isn't it, fielding? You know what it's like. You've got to go out there and field, because otherwise you're not allowed to bat.
Yeah.
Pat Brown is returning to the bowling attack.
Blair, before the games, would you, when you have your meetings, would you talk about potentially which bowlers that you might be able to attack a bit more, or do you?
Yeah, we sit down an hour or so before the game, go through all their batters, go through all their bowlers as a team. Guys can take it as they will, really. I'm not massive into it. Like, you can see a trend in guys, but you know what your best ball is, and at the end of the day, you probably know what your best option is with batting as well, so I don't take too much into it.
Here is Brown bowling to Willie, who just guides that into the ground. Shoulder of a length ball again from Pat Brown. Now, Pat Brown has got all the tricks, the slower balls and variation of length and everything else that goes with that. Very high quality white ball performer.
Yeah, I think with the first game, I do it myself. When you come back into white ball, you sort of try too much. You try heaps of slower balls. You forget that actually it's quite hard to hit off a hard length from ball one. So I think we've reflected on that well, and just doing the simple things well over and over again.
And comes Brown once more, bowls to Willie, who's lifted that out towards fine leg. He's not got hold of it at all. It actually lands on the edge of the circle before going through to Zach Chappell. Doesn't know his own strength as he throws it in over the head of wicketkeeper Nye Donald.
It's just about doing the basics right,
Yeah,
over and over again.
Yeah, for as long as possible. Obviously, we talk about it at home that we want to keep our heavy length as long as we can, because that's the most attacking option. That's how you're going to get wickets. Obviously, when it goes to death stage, you have to change it some time.
Bopara just flexes his knees as Brown's on his way in, and he guides it just past the left hand of a diving man at point, who is Ben Aitchison, and they come back for 2. That's good running by Bopara, especially, who was almost lapping David Willey there. Similar age, I think they're both around the 30-31 mark, these two. Mere pups compared to some. They've all got a few years left in them, Samet and Wayne.
Yeah, it means I've got a few more years than me.
There's plenty of years left in you, blimey. Here comes Brown again. 56 for 3, the Steelbacks. That one again is guided just to the left of Aitchison by Bapara. This time there's only going to be one as it's fielded down there by Chappell. So it moves on to 57 for 3, with 2 balls left of the 9th over.
Yeah, they've obviously seen the extra bounce in the wicket and they're holding the top of the stumps. Mid-off and mid-on are still up. Mid-wicket out now to both batters. So, yeah, just hitting that hard length. Now I say it, mid-on's going down.
Madsen down on the boundary just to our left, as well as a man on the mid-wicket boundary, the backward square leg boundary, and the long leg boundary as Brown is in, and that one is a slower ball. It's off the pads of David Willey into the leg side. In off the boundary comes Aitchison to do the fielding. Leg bye is signalled by umpire Adnan, and the score moves on to 58 for 3.
I think I prefer when Willie's bowling to have the third man back because it gives Pat Brown a few more options.
Yeah.
He obviously had to go for the slower ball there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if he went short, Willie, who oozes in T20 confidence, could just guide it down over the top of short third.
David Willey, a man discarded by England far too early. 58 for 3 as Brown bowls and Bapara pushes that straight to Samit Patel, who picks up and threatens to shy out the stumps, decides against it. Just 5 runs off the Pat Brown over. Pat Brown has now bowled 2 overs for 13, which will certainly make him feel a lot better. Approaching the halfway stage of this Northamptonshire Steelbacks innings. Good to have Slats listening now, isn't it? I'm surprised he could work a radio, if I'm honest. Well done, Ben. We're going to see Gazanfar his 3rd over.
Obviously, it's a big partnership, so we're looking to break it now. Otherwise, if these guys get in, then there's obviously good hitters down the order. So a wicket now will be a big change in the game, but if they can keep batting for a little bit longer, it's going to be a decent score, I think they'll put up.
34 off 30, the current partnership. Willie has 15, Bapara has 13. It's Willie on strike initially. No slip now for Gazanfar, as this one is, well, he tries to heave it into the leg side. He manages to get it on the bounce past Gazanfar and out towards long on for a single. 59 for 3. It's remarkable who you find out who's listening with people in Perth and people in New Zealand.
Yeah, the New Zealanders are just waking up, probably don't want to hear me on the old commentary, but
you'll be able to say hello to them later on. And good morning. So it's Saturday there. No, it's Wednesday today. Thursday there.
Hopefully not.
No, not Saturday. It's Gazanfar bowls to Bapara, who pushes it straight back to him. I think Wednesday night T20s are a bit bizarre. Derbyshire are up at Durham next Wednesday night. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. Drive back from Durham at 10 o'clock at night. I assume you're not going.
I think I'll be available that game, so I'll be going up
That's
north.
exciting. Gazanfar bowls up.
An exclusive there.
Yeah, obviously back bowling. Bowled today and did some running, and then hopefully Friday be bowling at full pace, and then give myself a weekend off, and then hopefully
have the weekend off, of course. Yeah, so we won't see you at Edgbaston, then. That's what you're saying. 59 for 3, halfway through Gazanfar's 3rd over, the 10th over of the innings, and he's in now on bowls. That one is just guided nicely by Bapara, but well fielded by Caleb Jewell, diving away to his right-hand side at backward point. Gets a decent round of applause. No, there's no need. You see, that's gone now. I think the trumpet's dead.
I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not. I never have been. But nobody listens to me. Get rid of the trumpet. It's having no effect whatsoever. 60 for 3 after that single was taken. 2 deliveries left of Gazanfar's 3rd over. Around the wicket to Bapara, who goes back and slaps the ball into the offside without making any real contact. They're going to come back for the second. No, they're not going to come back for the second, and quite right too. It's a very fine piece of fielding by Pat Brown, who is, for a quick bowler, an exceptional fielder.
He looks lightning over the field, doesn't he?
Oh, some arm.
As Blair said, I think these two are just going to tap it around quite a bit. Hit the sweepers hard.
61 for 3. Gazanfar bowls and Bapara pulls it just to the left of Samit Patel, and for 4 runs just tapping it around. That always happens. Don't worry
Commentator's
about it.
curse.
Don't worry about it. You're not the first and you won't be the last. 65 for 3 at the halfway stage, then 7 runs off that one. Pleased with the 65, I would imagine, Greg, but the 3, they like it to be 4 or 5, but not too bad a first half.
You can't be too greedy, can you? I think they've had a superb power play to start off with, but you're bowling at 2 incredibly experienced T20 players who have been here before, got the T-shirt, and they both know what they're doing. Another 5 overs of this will put them in a really strong position. As Blair said, they've got some big hitters further on to come in later on. So you've got Safe Sabe, Lewis McManus.
Yeah, some good players, aren't they? Safe Sabe's a really good wide ball player. Willie's on strike, and Ben Aitchison is back, and that one is smashed towards Gazanfar. He managed to stop it with some part of his body. He's a bit arms and legs, isn't he? Abid Gazanfar. Doesn't look a natural fielder. You don't have to say anything, Blair, you're all right. That's just the impression I've got, having seen him over the last innings and a half.
You don't need a fielder if you bowl like that, I think.
Well, that is true. That is true. 2 for 23 from his 3 overs so far. As Aitchison is in, and that one's turned into the leg side by Bopara. He's willing, though. Look, he's racing around to try and get to that one. The ball is picked up eventually by Caleb Jewell, and they get back for 2. That's good running. Bopara moves on to 20, 68 for 3. Sun is now shining brightly in Derby, as it often does. Anyone who's been here will know that. Certainly this year it's been glorious for the entirety of the cricket season, really. Lost 1 day of red ball cricket against Northamptonshire, I think. As Aitchison is in, that one. He's just tucked off a pad into the leg side. So 1 more to the total, 69 for 3. Bopara remains on 20. Willie has 18. How long do you think they'll wait before they go then, Greg? Because they're in. One's got 18, one's got 20. They're not quite well. Bopara's just shy of a run of ball. Willie's not too far behind him. Can't be too long, you wouldn't have thought. Aitchison in to the left-handed Willie, who slaps that straight to Samit Patel, who, diving to his right, puts the catch down. And that wasn't a particularly tricky catch for a fielder who was fielded there for most of his career.
He's on his strong side as well. Could be a big moment in the game, that could be.
Dropped on 18. We'll wait and see how costly that is as Aitchison bowls. This one's heaved. It just helped around the corner for 6 into the stand that's changed its name. It used to be the East Midlands Demolition Stand, and they've only just spotted